In another time. In another dimension. Bearded warriors. Trapped in an eternity of vapid space. Doomed to wander the galaxy. Broadcasting their nonsense to the void. This is StarCast.
Holy shit on a stick. That has never happened. You guys are actually quiet for the intro. I was like, usually I load it up and you guys are like, yeah, and then I had these really huge pimples on my ass, and it was just the best thing ever.
So we were all completely gobsmacked over the fact that we're at the top of the fan spotlight.
What is that?
Oh, yeah, we was reading that.
Okay, I gotta check out what that means. I don't know what you're talking about.
Fan spotlight on the RSI website.
Okay, let's. Jim said something about that.
And we're at the top.
There you go. Perfect beat me to it. He had it all ready to go.
Wait, why did mine get deleted?
CNP. No, it shouldn't have been.
It did get deleted. I can't see the viewer list either.
The viewer list?
It doesn't tell you. Oh, there it goes.
I probably have to reload this page. Hang on.
Oh, hey,
God damn it.
Hello, everybody.
Viewer list currently unavailable.
I love Mr. James.
And we don't just love you because you put us on the fan spotlight.
No, he's like willing to come on the show at a drop. He actually was on the show tonight. He was like, "Hey, what do you guys want?" And we're like, "We didn't need you, James." He's like, "Okay, good night."
It's not that we don't need you, James. It's just that,
Tonight's probably not the best night to be on the show.
I was like, this is probably not a really great night to be on.
We want to shield you from the rage.
I'm sorry, buddy. Well, I forgot. Well, real quick, my channel got attacked with a couple of nefarious types the other day and had figured out ways to crash my stream. So because of that, our chat is sort of old school right now, and until we get this sorted out, it's going to have to be. So I apologize about that.
I think the funniest part about that is that I mean, what, didn't you say they were like they were antisocial or something like that?
I said they were sociopaths. I didn't say they were. I said that there was a study recently that said that people that are trolls that like to ruin other people's fun on the internet have a sociopathic tendency. That's what I said. I didn't say they were.
Right.
Right.
But then they go off and they start doing this shit and they're like, how's that for sociopath? It's like, you're proving my point.
Yes. And then he started making threats on Twitter like, I will crush you or I'll do worse to you or something like that. I'm like, case in point, you are now acting even more sociopathic.
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I found out he's a kid. He was talking about, I was reading an earlier tweet from him and he was talking about how he was doing his lessons for his final exam or something like that.
By the way, if you're that easily manipulated, you're more likely a psychopath than a sociopath. Let's not get into psychology.
Yeah. Internet psychology is the best psychology ever.
Pop psychology is nothing compared to internet psychology.
Speaking of psychology, how about that bait and switch?
Oh, are we calling it that? Oh, really?
We're angry. We are. No,
we
we're
had
not.
nothing to talk about tonight. I mean, DFM was out. It's a lot of fun.
I can't even pretend to be angry.
I've been playing the DFM all day. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I was so angry
is the most fun.
I was so angry that whilst I was shaving my beard with a katana, it accidentally fell off completely. It was.
He's just a stubbled warrior right now, but at least he's farther along than Mr. Bod.
Like, I couldn't unleash my frustration on DFM. My rage and my anger just went out on my beard.
Nice.
It makes me wonder what would happen if they said, fuck it, we're just going to take your money and we're not going to make the game. I mean, you would probably slit your own throat in that case.
All right, some stuff's popping up in chat. Let me just go over a couple of things real quick, and then we can get started with actual talking about stuff. We are currently doing a drive for Mr. Madman Moose. He's a fan of our show. He's here all the time. He was diagnosed with cancer when he was 9 years old. They took that out. It was actually, he had brain cancer, a tumor in his brain. They took that out. They did a bunch of chemo on him at that point. They had to take out a couple other parts that probably he needed. And then what they ended up doing is everything was fine. He was great, and he's now going into another stage of cancer. This one might be some kind of either Hodgkin's or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I'm hoping it's Hodgkin's, but we won't know. Either way, he is currently in the hospital. He just had 2 lymph nodes removed from his neck, an abscess, and his neck is like the size of a football sideways. It's horrible.
Looks like Stewie, but...
He looks like Stewie, but in his neck. We are doing a drive for him. It's going to start tomorrow morning. That's what that total GBP is over on the right. That's people have already started donating. The reason I bring this up on the cast tonight specifically is we have a fan of the show who has done some great things for us in the past. His name is Squirrel. And Squirrel has donated 7 ships. He's donated 2 freelancers, 2 Avengers, a Constellation, a Xi'an Scout. Yes, you heard that right. And was that right? So 2.
Wasn't it 2 Xi'an Scouts?
1.
Or was it just the one?
Yep. He counted wrong.
Right.
He had. Okay, I'll get into that at some point. But anyway, and also, those are all just straight up ships. Okay, you guys can bid on them tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, we'll talk about the procedure in just a little bit. But those are just ships. They don't come in a package. So Robert Space Industries has donated a 300i full package, which is the whole deal. That's coming from James and Ben. They're donating that to us. So how this is going to work is if you guys want to get in on the auctions, there's a minimum buy-in of 13 pounds, which is about $20 US. That will get you into gold VIP status with my channel. That gets you 10 Domo coins for the rest of the month. It's for a full 30 days, not just the rest of the month, but the full 30 days. And then you get, you also get to get into the auction, which will be starting tomorrow. We're going to be doing a ship, probably 1 ship every 2 hours, most of the day, and then we're going to take a break in the middle of the night. We have a bunch of stuff from Sony to give away. We have some landmark stuff, Trailblazer packs, Explorer packs, all that kind of thing. So, yep. That is what's going on, and that's what the thing is there. So thank you so much for letting me have my little pitch here, and we're going to raise some money for Mr. Moose. All right. Moving on, then. Dogfighting module.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
What is it?
Sorry, what?
Arena Commander, maybe.
Oh! I've heard of
No,
that.
it doesn't exist. It's a myth.
It
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm playing it right now, so.
Yeah.
I've been shooting down scythes left, right, and center, man.
Yep. Playing Vandal Swarm all day.
Yeah.
Have you guys been watching my stream?
Yeah. All right. I've been saying this all along. I kind of thought it was not going to come out exactly on time, but when I saw Wingman's Hangar, that was pre-recorded, of course, saying, it's great, it's perfect, everything's fine, we are going to come out on time, no problem, I was like, ooh, it better be done. And so I was like, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's completed and they're just goofing off and they're playing with it now just like it's fun. But I guess they thought maybe the bugs would be squashed at that point.
That's usually when you find the worst bugs.
I was going to say, I bet you they were running an old build that they'd only just gotten right, and then they're like, okay, the final build that's going to go in, it shouldn't cause any problems, we'll get that sorted and get it out, and then all of a sudden, bugs everywhere!
Yeah.
And they were pretty nasty ones, too. Like, some of the main ones were killers, like, just, you know, the game would crash when you shot something.
Or you looked up and your head would never come back down.
That's right. Or, you know, I mean, there were smaller bugs. Like one was, if you got into the Aurora's bed with your helmet on, it would then bug the game out. I mean, that's a pretty. I mean, I don't know what you're doing if you're playing the Arena Commander.
It would seem to me that they should come up with a list of please don't try these things or you're going to crash.
Yeah, I just don't know what you're doing if you're in a giant battlefield full of shit going down and you're in your fucking bunk with your
Maybe you're meditating before your combat.
but still, it's the sort of stuff that they just don't want ruining people's ability to be able to test the game, I guess.
Right. What are you guys thinking? Core, what's up? What are your thoughts on this? Because you've been kind of ambivalent to the whole thing, right? Is that a Watch Dogs hat?
That is indeed.
Oh my god, you're so pro.
Very cool.
Son of a...
I felt yeah, go ahead.
That's pretty much my response to the DFM delay. I mean, I'm having fun with Watch Dogs. If I could tell you if I didn't have Watch Dogs right now, I'd be pretty fucking pissed. So to everyone who doesn't have Watch Dogs to play right now, I'm sorry.
There are so many other games. WildStar's coming out. We've also got Elite Dangerous as well.
Endless Legend.
Oh my god.
There's so many things right around the corner.
So many things to do right now. I don't even give a damn.
Yeah,
which is great for SIG, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Kind of.
Yes.
Kinda, yeah, sort of.
If this was like 3 weeks ago when nothing was coming out at all, and we were all like waiting with bated breath just because we had no other games to play, this would suck.
Yeah, the only people I feel really bad for is the ones that actually took time off. But then again, hey, that is the cost of doing business.
I would
and hopefully for
any game.
Hopefully for them, they only took off like the Friday because it's only one day. But yeah, beyond that, it kind of sucks that it got pushed back. But at the same time, I'm having too much fun with Watch Dogs to even care at this point. Which is also why there is no core rant on the DFM. I saw it coming a mile away, and when they came out with the bug list, it was like, yeah, it was obvious. And if those are the blockers and those are the criticals, then there's a shit ton of minors that they're not that they're not listing there either way. So I'm not bothered by it.
Trendane, I wanted to get your input on this because you were a QA tester at EA, and what are your thoughts on this? I mean, you're coming at it from a different viewpoint than everybody else here, who's just kind of we're gamers.
This kind of feeds into Cyberwolf's question.
Okay, did he have a question about this already? Because we can answer it now.
Well, it was specifically directed at me. I mean, I want to refresh the RSI website real quick.
Okay.
So they can finish chewing.
I'm sorry about that. I did see you were munching, but I thought you just finished, but you took another one just as
I did. Well, I haven't had anything to eat yet today. I was going to eat something during my Civ 5 stream, and then I remembered, wait, shit, I said I was just going to have one more round, and then just one more turn. God damn it, it's time for the show.
Are you looking for the bug list?
It's always one more turn with Civ.
Here you go. This is the
I got
Reddit
it.
one. Okay.
Civ is like that. It's always like one more turn, and you're like, I'm going to go to bed now, but I'm going to just do one more turn, and then it's it's evil.
So Cyberwolf's question is, looking over the bug list, would you have recommended that they hold the alpha back or release it as it was and have 450,000 alpha testers help you find and crack those bugs? It depends on what the bugs are, so that's why I wanted to bring the things up. Mm-hmm. The blockers that they have listed are the Vanduul Swarm. Display drivers can crash when Vanduul spawn or blow up. Vanduul Swarm is going to be a huge piece of the DFM.
Fixed, by the way.
For pretty much everybody at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
If a Vanduul Swarm if a Vanduul spawns or blows up, that's going to happen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the display drivers crashing, any crash is a blocker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless it is so timing specific or its reproduction rate is so low that you virtually can't get it to happen. Mm-hmm. I am a little bit surprised that this was not found before that, or that something. I don't know why this is suddenly an issue.
I would think that it was actually created. This is actually a new issue that popped up when something was changed or edited, because you can't have, if you've been developing the Vanduul Swarm mode for months, and all of a sudden it's not going to be that all of a sudden or it's not going to be that you just can't, you didn't bother fixing the thing that stops you from playing the game.
I think one of the things that had a little bit of influence on it, not sure if it did, but is the DirectX driver that was released like 2 days ago that may have had a slight impact on the driver crashes. And at the end of the day, I was told very smartly by someone in TeamSpeak today that if they didn't update their DirectX drivers to handle any potential crashes that might erupt from that, everyone who had updated their DirectX would run into those issues anyway. So they had to fix it before actually pushing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I updated my NVIDIA drivers like a day and a half ago. So yeah, I can definitely
For
appreciate
Watch
that.
Dogs.
And well, not me, but yeah, I'm just because the thing told me that it's a new driver. I'm like, okay, fine. But it is the classic situation of you fix something and it breaks something else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the bug was always there. I mean, Wingman said on Wednesday, excuse me, in Wingman's Hangar that they have been on code lock for a while. So they haven't been implementing anything other than bug fixes. So this is a situation where they fixed something or something external to what they're working on has changed and it has triggered this new bug. So for this, yes, I would absolutely hold this thing. Lag in feedback and update of essential game events resulting in increasingly divergent multiplayer sync. I don't know if I would have held it. I would not have held it back for that. I would have
let us get in and just do the Vandal Swarm.
because then you can get more data points. You know, so I wouldn't have called that a blocker and said no, don't release. I would have just made it incredibly clear to everyone this is a huge issue and you will encounter it. Please help us figure out more data points so that we can narrow it down. For the criticals that they have, a crash in Battle Royale when flying, it's a shader malfunction. Camera after respawn, your character is stuck looking up.
Terrible.
Problem.
It could be a big problem, but again, I suspect that I don't know if I would have held it for that. I would have said, this is a big one. You're going to see this. Just restart or whatever. We're working on it. Mm-hmm. The Vandal Swarm crash shortly after missile lock. That could be big. I probably would have held back for that. All maps occasionally when first spawning into the maps, lasers and ballistic weapons fire invisible but can be heard when firing. They eventually appear. I would not have held back for that at all. Crash after exit returning from DFM match. No, I wouldn't have held off for that. Character unable to exit DFM Aurora if the helmet is on. Absolutely not. I would not have held back for that.
I wouldn't even go so far as to call that a critical bug, but yeah.
I would agree. I would put that as a B because, again, it's very specific.
Yeah.
Very specific trigger for that. GeForce animations not playing on the pilot in any of the ships. No. Again, just warn people. And finally, character or parts of the cockpit interior vanish while accelerating. No, I would not have held off for that either.
I have
sorry.
Sorry, I have a quick update on that. Most of these are fixed. The only two that are not fixed are the lag in feedback, update essential game events, but, we figured that one. And the camera after respawn character is stuck looking up. And we saw this one, actually, when they were showcasing the DFM ages ago, and it's still in the game, so we don't know if that's something new or it's something that's been there.
That makes it unflyable,
Yeah.
But if you're just doing the Vandal Swarm and, you're only on the if you get blown up and you're going to come back as you're going to come back anyway. Your character's stuck looking up. You just restart it because you're dead. You're dead anyway, right?
It's easy. Just invert your ship like that and just fly around
Like that.
Just think of it like a periscope, kind of.
Yeah, they can see you up there.
So,
go ahead, Harris.
I was going to say, the reason the lag in feedback and update of central game events resulting in increasingly divergent multiplayer sync is a blocker is because it's likely happening at such a speed that makes the multiplayer game essentially unplayable. So I have no idea. The problem is that this is going to take a long time to fix. That's probably going to be a few days at least just tracking down and fixing that bug, because you have to figure out precisely what is causing the lag. There's some sort of performance issue here. There's some sort of there's some reason that the server is not able to grab information from one client and give it to another client fast enough for multiplayer to work. I mean, that's kind of an essential component of the entire dogfighting module. I would have released just the Vandal Swarm mode if that was the case.
Get it out and just say multiplayer's not ready, guys. And then I think most people would be.
That's probably what I would have done.
Yeah. Well,
But that's what I mean. I wouldn't have held off on releasing Arena Commander solely for that.
Now, Trendane, what do you think about this open development thing? I mean, they're actually going to show the bugs as they find them, real time, with the solutions, whether they're fixed or broken or whatever. What do you think about that?
I think it goes hand in hand with all the transparency that we're seeing for the entire development cycle so far. I think it's a really, really good thing. For one, it shows, a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people bitching on the forums and whatnot, talking about $44 million is enough to do anything. They should be able to do whatever the hell they, blah 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 blah, whatever.
WoW was 400 million.
And I think Spore, the New York Times, I think the initial projection was 20 million in 2006, and I think it went way past that. So I think it cleared well over 80 million, and that is nowhere near the game that Star Citizen is going to be. And this is now 12 years later? No, I mean 2006 to 2004. Yeah, 12 years later. Is that right? No.
So 44 million is a lot for you or I to have as income, right? But for a game, it's not that much. No. And that's why I think a lot of people have to start getting out of their heads. Like, yeah, if I had 44 million, I would be living large. But it's not me. It's an entire company building a game. You have to pay everyone's salaries. There's a lot of stuff involved with that.
Property rentals for the offices, the electricity, all the utilities.
Yeah. I remember when I heard back, it was about the 38 million mark. There were still a lot of people bitching about it was one of the very, very first DFM pushbacks, and everyone was like, oh, they've got plenty of money. And I actually looked it up on how much a lot of games cost, and there are games up there around the 100 million mark that aren't even a half the game that Star Citizen will be
trying to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trying to be, and those $100 million games are still shit. They're not. I'm being dead serious.
Look at the budget for COD every year. It's like 60 to 80 million. And those developers just sit there going, copy paste here.
Yep.
Grab CSS code from here. Let's look how it goes together. It's a game.
We'll change the color slightly. Yep, it's all done. Yeah.
They're
not building it from scratch.
No, games out there that cost 3 times the budget that SIG has at the moment. And they're still terrible. And they've been through who knows how long development and crap. And they've been out on the market being played by millions of people. And they're still shit. And then there's all these people, but $38 million, I could do so much with that. It's like, of course you could, dickhead.
I think the way to look at it is people are still looking at this as an indie production because technically it kind of was at some point. Not anymore.
Not anymore, right?
Because it broke all the boundaries and got so far up, people look at it as the lead runner. But
for a Kickstarter, this is an amazing fucking amount of money. Yes. For
a crowdfunded game, it is amazingly record-breaking everything. Unfortunately, it needs a little bit more if it wants to, go
AAA.
Yeah.
It's best, I think, described is the fact that previous paradigms, to use a horribly overused buzzword.
I love that word.
Does not apply.
I see a pyramid when you say
No, that's very true.
We are in completely uncharted territory with this. There has been nothing like this before. So to compare this game to any other and say they've got plenty of money for what they're doing, we don't know what they're doing. No. We have no clue exactly what they're doing. They are still themselves developing the idea of what they're doing. So we have no idea how much money is enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned in chat GTA 5 with 265 million. Yes, and it is completely true that half of that was marketing.
That's the thing. That's the other thing is we don't Star Citizen doesn't need marketing yet.
No.
At some point down the road they will, and hopefully we have enough money left over to do that. I mean, right now it's still all word of mouth, but I bump into people a lot of times going, "What is Star Citizen? What are you talking about? What is this?"
Yeah.
It still happens because it's word of mouth, but it doesn't mean it's getting out everywhere.
They need a lot more coverage at the events because, the places where it's supposed to, shine and stand out, like E3, it's not having that big of an impact as it should. And I think that is currently what's hurting it a little bit.
Yep. All right. Anybody else want to say? What do you think, Abad? What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, a DFM delay was expected. I don't know. I mean, as soon as he said the 29th, the 27th, I figured it would be delayed. I never held out for it at all. But they've got valid reasons for it. I wish they just hadn't have given the date in the first place, to be honest.
And we also established earlier today that the primary reason why they delayed it is because today is Squirrel's birthday.
Yes. And he was so excited that he was going to get a play on his birthday, and then no.
They're like, no way in hell is that guy getting into the DFM. Not on his birthday. Screw that.
But yeah, no, judging with the fixes that they implemented today, hopefully we can look at least at a single-player release over the next few days.
Yeah, I would think we could probably do single-player over the weekend. I'm hoping. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, at the end of the day, right, even if it's completely game-breaking, something that they have not been able to find yet, which, judging from the fact that they've been playing it so much, would be a little bit unlikely. But if they were to do a Friday night release, they wouldn't be able to fix anything over the weekend. But then at least people would
Why
be
not?
Wouldn't they be
They're
working?
not in the office.
I promise you, they will be there.
Actually,
yeah, they're going to be here all week.
I
They'll be
promise
there.
you.
They've probably been there for 2 weeks, which I feel really bad for them. When James got on the call earlier, did you see all the lights were out?
Yep.
Because I think they're just freaking fried. There's probably people in their office right now sleeping.
Yeah.
Probably.
And they're, we got to give these guys a little bit of a break. I'm not saying that they should have come out with it. They should have probably come out with a date.
We're not raging about anything. I mean,
we're not. But I've seen on the forums. I stopped looking. I just said, "Fuck it."
Don't do yourself a favor.
There's a thread on SCP which in one day gathered like 7 pages. Now that wouldn't normally be a big deal on our side because that happens on like an hourly
30
basis.
seconds, yeah.
But on SCP it went really quickly, and it was okay, but it was a little bit more negative than we'd wished it was.
Yeah.
But then again, if we head over to our side, then it just goes.
Well, I can only imagine what Reddit's like at this point in time.
I think they're being pretty civil on Reddit.
Okay.
Which is strange.
That is not possible.
No.
He's trying to keep the Reddit people friendly, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
There was sarcasm in that.
Yeah. Ooh. Kimball said he was going to go over there and have a check and see what things were like on to see the status of what was going on.
I love how we're sending out feelers go check it, man. Just
Go
come
check
back
it.
with
I'm
a
not
report.
looking at it.
And I told him to take a pistol with him just in case something happened, and he knew what to do with that pistol.
Use it
if
on
things
himself,
got ugly. Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's like if you get into Reddit, man, and it gets too ugly, just
shoot
send
the
it,
guy
man.
next to you and run.
But yeah,
I'll feed on his corpse.
Yeah, exactly. throw a rotting corpse out for them to
Or
feast
just do
on
the Watch Dogs thing. Take your phone and then just blow some shit up and run.
Yeah, I'm totally becoming an
Black
anarchist
out
in that
Reddit
game.
and walk away.
Oh my god, that would be so awesome.
You would freak out if you did that.
It would be great.
It would be the equivalent of somebody going all Watch Dogs and diverting all coffee shipments from CIG.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Just send all the coffee somewhere else and just watch them all go, oh my god.
I think a grog diversion would be a bigger motivator for them more than coffee. The amount
I think they're past coffee. I think they're on cocaine and energy drinks.
Yeah.
That is currently what they're on.
They're making
They're on
speedballs.
speed.
Yeah.
They're on speed. They're knocking over little kids for their Ritalin.
Oh, Donneran is right. The Reddit sometimes is much nicer than Star Citizen forums.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes.
Definitely.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
All right. The next great starship. By the way, guys, while we are talking here, make sure you put in questions. We only got like 4 questions. I guess nobody really wants to talk about anything tonight. We can be end sooner.
I think
Everybody's
everyone's just
depressed.
really obsessed.
People are angry.
Type in question, put it in bracket. We will answer your question as best we can on the show.
Yeah, Cyberwolf said he's like, I'm in shock. I don't know what to do.
I
Yeah,
only
what's
have
this?
6
Only 2
questions.
questions from Cyberwolf. Yeah.
He's just so rattled that he missed out on the no DFM. He's like, I just can't handle it. I don't know what to do.
He's been in the shower all morning with cold water splashing himself,
Crying
in a fetal position. Yeah.
Yeah, rocking back and forth.
trying to cut his wrist with the dull edge of a coffee cup handle.
Yeah. All right. So yes, the next great starship. What'd you guys
What is that?
It's a show. Which
they do a show?
Right now. Yeah, they do a show.
We do a show.
Fucking show.
I do a show.
We do a show?
We do a show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it's going to be Infinite Shoe Monkey versus. Is it Infinite Shoe Monkey yet? No, we don't know yet. That's coming up to
it's them versus Shard.
Shard Collective, I think.
Shard Collective, and then those will go up against the 4 Horsemen.
That's right. Whoever loses
that?
out of that is 3rd place, and then it's whoever wins is fighting it out versus 4 Horsemen.
No, I think whoever loses out of that goes into the losers. Or
do they have
the
to vote
van
for
with
the
the losers from the previous one?
Oh,
Both
right,
third
yeah.
place.
So they go in with Three Dingo and Shimmerpan.
If you had said to me back when we were looking at the guns that these guys were making, the Infinite Shoe Monkey would have made it this far, I would have said no.
It was very simple. I went back and looked at it when I was looking for updates on videos in the thing, and I looked at their gun and I'm like, well, it's not so flashy, but I guess
the problem was it probably was flashier, but it was black on black on black with a little bit of blue, and it spun in this sort of odd way that looks sort of like some kind of spitting thing in space. It was too dark. But their ship, and when I first saw their very first concept of the ship, it looked like a shoebox with a little cockpit sitting on it. But since I started playing Elite Dangerous, it looks a lot like the Anaconda. I don't know if you guys have been playing any Elite Dangerous at all.
I have, but not that part of it.
Okay, it looks like an Anaconda. It's like this little long, thin thing with a cockpit that sort of sits above the flat part of it.
Actually, you doing
Nothing.
Core?
Core's playing, what do you call it? Watch Dogs again while we're streaming.
He's hacking people, stealing their money right now.
I can see the little blue lights on his lenses going. The next great shoebox. Of these ships, guys, so we've got the Four Horsemen, Infinite Shoe Monkey, and possibly Shimmerpan.
No,
Shard. What happened to Dingo?
They got voted out.
I thought they got saved. Remember? Didn't Sandy?
Free Dingo is still in it.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be
last week we had Shimmerpan, Four Horsemen, and Talon.
Oh my God, he's even got the fucking mask.
Tomorrow we've got Shard, IXM, like Infinite Shoe Monkey, and Free Dingo is tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot about them.
Are they? I don't.
So 6 left. It was 3 last week and 3 tomorrow.
3. Okay, so now we're down to only 1 from last week left, which is the Four Horsemen. And then we got the 3. Okay, I'm sorry about that. 3 done goes. Yep.
But in the at the end of Wingman's Hangar, when they did the coming up next in the next group Starship,
only those 2.
Well, that's right. They're the only 2 ships that they showed.
Unless maybe Free Dingo pulled out.
Well, they're the only 2 ships that they showed that were contending in that match. Because normally because normally they go through all of them.
If you look at the website now, it still lists them as being a finalist. So it doesn't say on there.
Okay, then they must have just not put a clip of that. That's the only reason I didn't include them.
There's only 2.
That's what I thought.
One of them goes on. One of them goes into the pool for 3rd place.
Yeah, but they just didn't mention 3 Dingo at all.
No. Last week there was 3, and there's one went on, and 2 went into the pool for 3rd place.
That's right, but that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't show 3 ships going into the next episode, though. That's the only reason I thought that they weren't in it.
Yeah, I was just going by what the website says. It still lists all 6.
Oh, well, if the website says that they're still in the running, then I guess they are, because they're pretty quick to nix them.
So they might be there tomorrow. Then we'll see. We'll see tomorrow, unless they somehow they've pulled out or they're out of it some other way. So if they're supposed to be in it, they should be in it tomorrow.
Is that your little fixer there, Core?
Yeah.
Jesus, Core, you went all in with fucking Watch Dogs.
Actually, what happened, and this is the figure. What happened was I bought a Vigilante edition.
Oh my God!
And that was about 70. So I was like, okay, great. And I figured, whatever, it'll be fine. It'll arrive here on the day. And instead, I got 2 tracking numbers sent to me from the company that I bought it from. And I was like, what? 2 tracking numbers? Why would you do that? So I checked the order again. I'd only pay $70, and the order comes in. 2 different delivery guys, 2 different packages, and one's a DedSec edition, one's a Vigilante edition. I ordered the Vigilante edition, and I'll open it, check the invoice. It says the price for 1 Vigilante edition. I'm like, great. Look at the DedSec edition. It just says quantity 1. Like it's a stocking order, not an actual invoice. I go, I never paid for it. I got it for free.
The bank has made an error in your favor.
I don't mind.
$2.
You pulled that card out.
Or somebody hacked it and sent you an extra one.
Or you hacker. All right, so of the ships that are coming in, which one would you guys buy if you had a choice right now? We'll go around the room. Trendane, what would you buy if you had...
I was really hoping you wouldn't ask me.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you.
Because I'm trying to remember who or which ones are in this week, what they look like.
Okay, you got the boom sling, which is
one with the big antenna.
the antenna thingy. You got Infinite Shoe Monkey, which is sort of long and thin. Got a lot of really cool animations with things open up inside. That's kind of what saved him, is their interior stuff was just so beautiful. And then Three Dingo, which we don't know why they weren't shown, but Three Dingo's ship is sort of like that aggressive-looking, like almost like that ship that you like with the
Silverback.
The Silverback. It's kind of got that look, but it's got a little bit of a break up in the back. A bit
Got
different.
cockpit.
I think one of the things that I liked about it, it reminded me of the drop ship from Aliens.
It does look a lot like the dropship. And then we've got the Four Horsemen, which is the Gungam, you know.
With the
yeah.
No. This is going to take me a while.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
Thank
Harris.
you.
What would you do?
I think you know my answer. Since episode 1, I've been on Four Horsemen.
You like that
Still
sort
on
of
that
anime?
train.
It's a very impressive looking ship. It's huge. You see the little guy standing next to it. It's probably bigger than the Constellation by about twofold.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But I'd buy all of them, really.
Right? Yeah. Stakas?
So far, I'm still Infinite Shoe Monkey. I have been pretty much since they showed that really unique design, which was almost completely different from everyone else's. But I kind of want to reserve my ultimate judgment until I see the final in-game representation of the last few ships. But I doubt there'll be anything in there new and exciting and fantastic that'd sway me that much away from it. So if I had to put money down now, it would be on IXM, definitely.
Okay. Bod?
For the ones that are left, I would go with Four Horsemen as well. I would have said, I've still been with Talon, a bit disappointed about last week, how he kind of crashed, but, that's still a ship I liked the most.
Well, you can't have that one.
Indeed, so Four Horsemen out of what's going to be, looks to be going through to the final.
And I don't know if it's any point at all asking Core. Whatever one wins?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one.
He
The
likes
one that
that.
everyone wants
I have
to
a question for Core, though. No. Would you buy one of those ships?
Yeah, would you buy
Yeah, I'll take them all.
Well, no.
No, but you know what I mean.
That
Seriously, though, would it be a ship that you would seriously consider as getting for, like, irrespective of who wins? Is that sort of thing that you'd contemplate in getting one?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Cool.
I've looked at most of them, and I do think that they've put a lot of effort in, and I like the way that they look, and I like what they represent, so I would definitely be willing to buy them. But to watch an entire show about it, that's not something I will.
Okay.
I understand you have no interest in the show, but the product in the end, you still have an
End
interest
product
in
is exactly what interests me. The actual process of getting there, less so.
Have you even looked at some of them just to see what they look kind of like?
Yeah. If you just Google it, you can just come on the TNGS Star Citizen thing, and you look by RSI, and you get like these 2-minute videos of the ships. I've looked at those, but I did not feel like looking at the half-hour videos.
That's fine.
of them guest bagging about shit.
Pretty much.
That's fair enough. I kind of like that because I still like some reality shows. They're okay. All right.
Three Dingo.
What about them?
They're still among my favorites. It's always a toss-up between Four Horsemen and Three Dingo.
What is in your face? What is that? You got big white teeth.
This is the proof.
It took you guys about, I'd say, 45 seconds to notice.
We figured that was your normal bling.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You got that grill on your teeth.
It's the proof of that sentence that I think it was the front page of The Onion for one of the things that says, American dentists just can't get Americans' teeth any goddamn whiter. Mm-hmm. I think that's exactly what that looks like.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, you were saying something?
What were we talking about?
That for me, it's always kind of a toss-up right now between Four Horsemen and Three Dingoes. Mm-hmm. Between the two, I think I still prefer Three Dingoes ship.
Hopefully, they're going to clean it up some, but I'm just curious why it didn't show up in the list this week.
You're just hoping the ship comes with 3 energetic Italians, aren't you?
Not all 3 of them.
Not all three of them.
Just the guy with the glasses, right?
Just one or two. Oh, you're after the main guy with the scarf, the one that gets all
fired up.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah. If I can get him, Talon, and a stormtrooper.
Oh dear.
Or the two of them in stormtrooper. Oh,
this is the part where James wrote on the fan site thing, "Oh, we get a little blue."
We get a little blue.
Yeah.
You gotta start putting up those warnings on YouTube.
It just wasn't allowed to use the word vapid because it's trademark.
Yeah.
Copyrighted.
All right. Time to move on into our Q&A time.
Q&A
time. Ready?
Yeah, it's already 6:45. Yeah.
Because
we started earlier this week. That's why it feels weird.
Yeah, it does.
All right. So, first question. I guess I'll read it.
Also, our topics are a little bit more limited because we're supposed to be talking about the release of DFM being imminent, but
yeah, we were supposed to be gushing on about how awesome the DFM is at this point, but
how friggin' broken it is.
You know what I mean.
No, we were supposed to be sitting there going,
yeah, it's like, yeah, I think it's really good.
Hang on.
I just got you.
We're streaming too. Yeah, hi guys.
If you have any questions, put them. Shit. I mean, just put them in brackets. Oh, damn it! I hit the bracket. That's my missile lock. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Guys, I'm sorry.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just writing to somebody. Paquito is asking me when do I stream. It's every day. All right, let's go into first question. This is from Frankie. Do you think we'll have an asteroid hangar for the last Wingman's hangar? And just to expand on that question, what do you think the last show is going to be like? If you guys want to talk about our final show.
Excuse me.
Oh my God! Wait, Paquito just
subscribed.
Thank you, Paquito.
Woo! Welcome to the
Have you got wubs or something going at the moment?
I do, but you guys can't hear the wubs. Sorry. I was just dancing, yeah. I already danced.
Yeah,
we can't see you do that either.
We can't see that either. I just like keeping you guys in the dark.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Or in cryotubes.
In cryotubes. In the intro, that's what happens. Look at all those little tribe things. Love you guys.
Christ, guys.
Tribes ahoy. My lord.
Like reading Hex.
It is. It's like little guys, little domos all over the place, like they're breeding.
Wingdings.
Yeah. Love you guys. Okay, so anyway, asteroid hangar for Last Wingman's hangar, and what do you guys think of the last show, or what's going to happen? I predict that he's going to cry, but that's just me.
I keep getting Johnny Carson on his last show. I just keep picturing that. I keep thinking that he's going to have Bette Midler on to sing "The Wind Beneath My Wings," and then Rob's going to lean in. He's going to like pop up from behind Bette Midler's chair, going, "There's no wind in space," and then just here's the solar wind.
Have you sent him the script yet? Because I think this is an excellent script.
No.
That's good. I like that one.
I think it'll probably be not a clip show, but I think he kind of mentioned a bit of a retrospective sort of thing. So I think there'll probably be a little bit of that. I think part of the reason why this show might have been so short is not only because they were working on the dogfighting module, but I think they probably are also diverting a lot of effort towards making the last show. I think they're going to spend a lot more time making the last show. It'll probably be a lot longer than what we've seen thus far. They'll probably cover things from the beginning, from when Wingman's Hangar started, all the way through what it is now. And then, so we'll have like clips and stuff, and then we'll have, Wingman sitting on a stool while Barbra Streisand sings "You're the Solar Wind Beneath My Wings," and then, and then he'll start crying and say, "I wish you all a very heartfelt good night. See you in the verse." And he'll wander off stage, and Doc Severinsen will have a coronary, and
I don't know, man. I just don't see a reason to get rid of it. I don't understand. It's not like. Is it a huge budget every week or something like that?
No, I think the development process is becoming more and more modular, to the point where basing it a show solely in Austin is probably not a feasible idea. So they're moving it.
I think also the thing is that now that DFM is actually coming out, hopefully we'll see more information coming out that way rather than in the video format. But
plus, sorry, go ahead, Harris.
Good. I was just gonna say I hope they do a retrospective of all the innuendo and dick jokes that they made. I would watch that.
Yeah.
In this hour of dick.
And now that you've said it, somebody will do it.
Yes. Somebody go do that, please.
But there's also the fact that Wingman is probably he's probably way more busy now than he ever was. I mean, he used to do the Wingman's Hangover right afterwards, and now it's a half an hour delayed after Wingman's Hangover is done because he's into meetings and everything up until that point.
Maybe it's time for it to be over. It just seems,
it's possible. But I think also because we know that they're doing stuff there in Santa Monica, and they're doing productions there in Austin, and that's two different studios that they have to rent out and get all the cameras and all the lighting and all that stuff set up. By moving everything to one location, they can do all of the production there, and they don't have to rent out multiple studios. So that cuts some of the production cost. Plus there's the fact that it frees up Wingman to do more of his job running the Austin office, and all of the things that are, all of the interactions that go through with that. It enables them to put more of a single face on a thing, not necessarily having Chris being, the face and the voice of everything, but it localizes everything. All of the information that comes out of one location, and it's just more cost effective and more time effective to do it that way.
Gotcha. But they've stated quite early on that when they do these new shows that they're going to be broadcast from all of the different studios, though, not just one. Like, they're going to have broadcasts from Manchester, they're going to have them from Austin, from Los Angeles. They're going to be all over the shop. It's not going to be moved solely to one place, though. It's going to be replaced with multiple shows.
So I was under the impression that it was going to be that they would do them and then that they would send them to Santa Monica and they would be assembled there. That's the way I interpret it.
That's quite possible, too. That I just know that they were saying that instead of having just Wingman and doing that show from there and just everything all there, it was going to be modular from everyone else. Like, each studio was going to have their own update, and it might be 1 week it's from Santa Monica, one week it's from Monaco, is it Monaco? Monte Carlo? Where are they?
Montreal.
Montreal. One started with M.
Monte
I don't know where
I'm
they
like,
are.
Oh my, I got lost for a
Yeah,
second.
Monte Carlo. I thought there is one in Montreal, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turbulent.
Web development, Turbulent.
Yeah, sorry. So there may be a video from each one, and 1 week might be Manchester, 1 week might be from Austin. I don't know. I thought that was the deal.
Those would be done in the offices. Those wouldn't be done in a studio like Wingman's Hangar. And
correct. No, you're right. You are correct there. I don't know. I would, from the way they explained it, it was going to be that there was no one singular show anymore. There were going to be multiple shows from each, like we get in the monthly update. It's like, this studio does an update, the next studio does. It was going to be that, but in video form.
Yeah, and that would work really, really well, even if it isn't then sent to Santa Monica and assembled and packaged and sent out. Even if each individual studio does it, it's still just a handheld camera, and you don't have to deal with the amount of time and the cost to set up the studio and everything to do that.
But it would make sense if then someone like Ben was doing like what Wingman does and hosts it, but then all of the stuff comes from the other offices. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah,
we'll have to see what the new format's like.
Or Sandy.
Or Sandy even. Well, they even mentioned that Sandy will be on the shows. Eric will still be on the shows.
Yeah.
Ben will be into the shows. No, Ben will be into the shows, but then he also added that the other studios were going to get in on the action as well. So, but I think I was just thinking about something that Trent was mentioning about how Eric will be able to do his job. I think there are a lot of people out there that don't realize Eric actually has a job other than presenting Wingman's Hangar. I seriously do. I seriously do think that people think that that's all Eric does is Wingman's Hangar. It's like, why are they quitting? Why? Eric does nothing else. He can just keep doing it. It's like,
wait,
no.
Seriously? Okay.
Yeah. No, seriously. I believe there are people out there that had no idea what Eric does, that he actually runs the Austin studio.
They should have been with me when I went to the Austin studio. They would see just a small glimpse of what his day is like when he has shoved everything else off and is just escorting guests around the building and talking to us, because there was never more than 5 minutes between somebody coming up and saying, because this is pushing all of his duties off, and they still kind of sneak in every now and again. And somebody's like, I need the credit card. And I'm like, can I get the credit card?
So
you want some bourbon? I'm like,
and on top of that, doing the show.
On top of that, like, the show was just an extra thing on top of his actual job description.
Yeah. I can believe that he's wary.
And it's not just him, because Rob selects a lot of the questions that get asked during board and feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Is Trendane fighter?
What?
No?
Sorry, everybody. I left Bank Heist on. I apologize.
Sorry, you got a little bit quieter for me, Trendane. I don't know if I'm the only one having it.
You got quiet.
Actually, yeah.
Say something, Trendane.
Okay. What? Something, Trendane.
There you go.
That's fine.
Okay. Anyway, I left the Bank Heist on. You guys will do this Bank Heist. I will kill it, so it won't go back off. I apologize. I forgot that I left it on.
He will send out the National Guard, not just SWAT, the National Guard.
Yeah, we're sending out the National Guard this time. You guys are fucked.
And the mounted police, just for Trent.
Yeah, the mounted police. And the mounted stormtroopers.
No, because stormtroopers on horses.
Dewbacks
can't hit anything.
Nearly spat up my coffee.
You did a spit take.
I almost did.
All right, let's move on to the next question here. Okay, Cyberwolf says, so now that we got the maps room stellar cartography, I was just thinking, if you play an explorer who sells his updated maps to people to make credits, will those custom maps somehow be copy protected so that we cannot be resold by the original buyer, so that we can sell those maps to others? That's another question. You slipped that one in. Okay.
I would suggest it's either one of two things. Either they are maybe like copyright protected so that it can only be sold on once. A bit like what they've done to the ships when you can only gift them once. Yep. Or it's hard coded into the map who was the original producer of that map, and there's no way to edit it or something like that. Like, you can't edit the map, and it's got down the bottom when you view it, this map was created by Trendane or whoever. So
DRM in the game.
Yeah, DRM. Something like that. I don't know how they'd go about it, but I would think there would be. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's absolutely nothing whatsoever. Maybe if I give you a map that shows a very particular jump point that no one else has mapped, there's nothing stopping you from taking that map and selling it on, claiming it as your own, other than the fact I've named it
they probably got something built in, sort of like in the Player Studio for Landmark. They're not, just because you have made a wagon wheel, somebody else is not going to make that. Is not going to be able to take that wheel and put it back up on Player Studio. So I think the ship will need to have the actual coordinates sort of loaded in, sort of maybe it's like encrypted. So even though you could show a picture like, hey guys, look, there's a galaxy out here in this upper right, doesn't mean your ship's going to know how to get there. So until you actually own that map, there's probably no way to actually get there, even though you can see it on a map physically, but you can't actually get to it.
You need the route.
The route, the trade-off to that is the description of stellar cartography indicated that, you'd be able to lock it down so that nobody else could see it, presumably in case you had somebody visiting your hangar, and they wander into your stellar cartography room and all of your secret, jump points are all located there. They could just kind of click, and take a picture of it with their Moby glass, and they've got it. But maybe the nav data is not there, so that they can't pilot through it, but then they just have to do it manually. Maybe they don't know exactly where in the system the jump point lies, but they know that now that there is a jump corridor from point A to point B, and all they have to do is go to the system and search it out. So, because remember, the stellar cartography is in your hangar, not in your ship.
Right.
Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tricky one. It's a good question. Very good question.
Well, we'll have to see. This is all still up in the air.
It's an unknown, unfortunately.
Way down the road. We're just going to
So now that we have container system, I was wondering if some of those containers are rather large, too large, in fact, they could be easily carried off, or economically redistributed. How do you think we'll get them off a ship that we've docked with to have a friendly conversation in space? So somebody comes and shoots up my Starfare, and it's got those huge ass containers underneath it. They want to take them away, and all they've got is a cutlass. So they could open them up and go inside and steal the gold bars, or they can take the entire container. I guess he's trying to say, how will that happen? What if you take on something, bite off more than you can chew?
Zip ties.
Yeah.
Well, they talked about being able to tractor beam the wing of a Hornet with a gun on it and then salvaging it. They've talked about that. We're wondering how much. Maybe it's going to depend on the quality of the tractor beam, on how much you can actually carry versus the thrust ratio of your ship.
I think I mentioned this on. Sorry, just real quick. I think I mentioned this on the base last week that all of the weapons are mounted to ships using flash fire systems adapters. So as soon as they're separated from the power source, the adapters go back into their kind of moldable clay thing, and you could just pop it right out of the wing. There's nothing to. You just put the gun in your hold, and you're gone.
Yeah. I was just thinking, if they're talking about how will they physically grab the items and load them into the back of their thing, they did say that there's going to be like a hover or space equivalent of like a trolley jack or a forklift that you'll be able to sort of scoot along with it. So, that's how you're physically going to unload stuff out of the back of your ship. If you go and dock at an Earth-type station, you get this hover forklift and it'll pull it out, or whatever it is, however it looks. But they did say there's going to be a version, like what do they call it, a cargo sled, I think Chris Roberts called it. It basically, if you found like just a floating thing, you'd be able to scoot out in your EVA suit, load it up, and then load it into the back of your... Because there's only so much a tractor beam would be able to drag in, I would say. So if it's a big cargo container, but you have a ship big enough to fit it in, you'd be able to whack on your EVA suit, go out with your little sled, hook it up, and then motor it back into the loading bay of your vehicle. Mm-hmm. So I'm just throwing that out there, if that's because wasn't quite understanding exactly what they were trying to get at, but that's one of the things that you'd be able to do.
Space Stevedores Local 187.
All right.
Thank you, Kin Shadow.
We already did the question from Cyberwolf about the bug, so let's go to Neil 90K's question. How much of a space sim is Star Citizen? Example, DCS, a 10 startup from Wrap Sim, or turn your ship with one button?
Turn on your ship.
Turn on your ship with one button.
Basically, he's asking if it's going to be as difficult to start up your Hornet as it will be to initiate a full flight sequence from a DCS A-10, or whether it will be jumping in your ship and it turns on.
Yeah, but how but I was going to say, how fun is the actual starting process of an A10 for those playing a video game?
That's what he's asking. No, but there are people that are that hardcore that buy all those lights and switches and everything.
You can actually buy a game. I know because Geek Boy Shan has it. That it is like literally the book that comes with it is 1.5 inches thick, and it's all just a simulator for like those types of airplanes and vehicles, and it is legit. You have to do the whole as if you were flying the thing yourself.
Which some
you
people
have to do the whole sequence.
That's what they want.
People love it, but no, it's not going to be that hard.
Well, do we know? I mean, right now you hop in and the canopy comes over your head when you get in.
Maybe one day it'll be a setting that you can flip somewhere.
A quick start procedure or standard starting procedure, something like that.
They did mention that at the moment, when you enter an Earth atmosphere, it's going to initiate a cut scene, which will almost be like an autopilot, because they weren't going to allow you to manually land your ship to start with. But when it gets to the point where you can manually take off and exit the atmosphere and land, maybe they have an option so that it is a lot more convoluted or technically correct, that you have to warm up your power core and set your thrusters, and possibly there's a good chance that they might go that far. But there's an option.
Quick time events.
As you're walking up to your ship, you fire up your Moby glass. You're like X X X X X E X X X A.
Quick, wiggle your mouse to wind up the thrust.
Cypher just said in chat they confirmed 100 bindable keys, which is amazing because even though HOTAS that I've got probably has 30 keys on it or whatever, but
It's
there are
like 45.
It's like 45, but there are other little units that you can buy if you go type in space sim or not space. Sorry, simulator controls.
Yeah.
There's all these little things that look like what you would have in an actual plane, like all of the VOR and your altimeter and all these little things with tons of different things that interact with one main central HOTAS. So
those same hardcore people that use those military or just civilian airplane simulators have full setups like a real cockpit. Mm-hmm. Like they have full-on setups where they have real toggle switches in front of them that are then linked directly to the game, and then you flick that toggle for your fuel lines and your fuel pumps. That then does it in game. So there's bound to be someone out there that's got a setup like that will play Star Citizen, and to them 100 binding keys is like wonderful.
Indeed, you
well,
are.
you know what I mean. I mean they can't go too crazy, or it's just you'll have 500 key bindings that they can't use, but.
Keyboard already has a whole
Thank
bunch
you
of
so much, As Tricky. As Tricky just donated 12 more pounds.
Thank you, Az.
Thank you, Az. Appreciate that, buddy.
And I can also switch between keyboard layouts down here. So.
Yeah, but even so, then you're going to have to remember because I've got that on my Razer Tartarus, which has like 50 different possible combinations of whatever, but it's just too many to remember. Like I got to go tab to this one, tab to that one. I would rather if I I want to turn my altimeter on, I can click one little toggle switch if I really wanted to get into that.
No, but you can always switch between keyboard layouts. For instance, when you want to start up your ship, you set the keyboard layout in a certain way so that it's easy from left to right. However, when you're flying, you switch to keyboard layout 1, and then you've got the buttons set up specifically for WASD control. However, you could do this the same way for a joystick or for any other thing that allows you to program it as much as you want.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that answers your question. I think it could be anywhere from one button startup to a full DC-10. All right. So question from Bert Spees. How transparent are the SIG developers allowed to be? Did they sign an NDA?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Lots of NDAs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
work for a company,
NDA next week.
you sign an NDA, and you sign a non-compete.
Yep. Definitely. Non-compete. Yeah, they probably signed a non-compete clause of some description, but it's probably not valid for more than a few months at most. But the reason they signed NDAs, I know they're making the development process very transparent, but the NDAs are for the proprietary technology that they're developing.
Yep.
I mean, they made the CryEngine have double precision. Like they're not just gonna give that up to anybody or risk that getting loose into the wild, because that's a huge advancement for the CryEngine.
Mm-hmm.
And that probably took a hell of a lot of work for them to do.
CryEngine, speaking real quick, he just went on sale the other day. If anybody's out there wanting to get into making their own space sim or any kind of other ship thing, anything else you want to make, CryEngine is for sale on Steam right now for $9.
Yeah, if you can do it without the $42 million and without an entire design team, it's on Steam.
It's on sale. Yeah,
you
go
make
for
your
it.
own Star Citizen.
All right.
Just to add to Perfect's
ahead.
thing about how they got double precision going, someone actually asked Chris Roberts, and I think it was 10 for the Chairman, a very similar question about sort of the technologies of CryEngine and stuff like that. I think it was they wanted to know if the new technologies that they developed utilizing CryEngine, if they were going to then share that back with CryEngine, sort of say, well, you've helped us, get CryEngine to 3.6 or whatever the version is now. Are you going to then share with them that sort of tech? Chris sort of very politely sort of stepped around the question, but he basically in the end said no, that they weren't, because he said, I don't think they have a reason for needing it because they do primarily first-person shooter stuff and what we've developed is not necessary for it, so we probably won't. But if that's an indication that he's not even really thinking about giving it back to CryEngine, there's a good chance that the people are not allowed to talk about it to anyone.
Before we get off of this real quick, Kimball just added a question that I still was wondering about myself, and if we ask it later, it won't make any sense. What is double precision?
Double precision is, it basically allows for 64-bit floating point doubles.
What does that mean? Can you break it down to, like, I'm a 5-year-old, I have no idea what you're talking about. It puts sparkles in the thingy?
Increases integer size. Increases maximum integer size. Double precision means that you can be twice as precise as 32-bit in your calculations.
Oh, okay.
Right, most of the code, or most of all these architectures were written in 32-bit, which had a limited... basically, there was a ceiling to 32-bit. 64-bit breaks that ceiling, so in order to get the Crysis engine specifically in 64-bit, they had to develop this new architecture, and that is literally what double precision is.
Thank you so much for the donation, Mr. Kinshadow.
So think of it
I know it
this way.
says $5 on the thing, but it's £5. I have to get a better graphic. That was, yeah.
So think of it this way: if you have a processor with that supports with 64-bit that supports a 64-bit process, it can do 30. How do you say this? I don't even know what the mathematical term is. It goes from 2 to the 32nd to 2 to the 64th.
Yeah, Nightcrawler just said double precision is way more than twice as precise. It's 2 to the power of 16 times larger.
Right. It's not. It's well. Hang on. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not about double precision. It literally does mean double precision. But what it really means is that you're in terms of your memory, you can access 2 to the 32 times more bytes at once. I don't know how to say that mathematically. Like
lots of numbers with ones and zeros in them.
Right.
Okay.
Big things.
It basically means that the game can utilize a lot more of your computing power. Because, like they've said from the outset, that 32-bit systems won't run it.
Right.
They've said that you're going to have a 64-bit system just to run the game, because they had to make it utilize that just to get it to work the way they need it to.
The thing is, though, I mean, I explained it in layman's terms, but all the technical things they're great, but they don't. We can't argue or talk about them.
Or we can't fly the damn dogfighting module right now, so It doesn't really matter how precise it is. All right, let's move on. Next one is Smogfire says, for those of us who have not purchased it yet, can you explain what we need to play which parts of the game? Sure. I guess I can answer
We
this one.
won't, but we can.
We can. We could. Will I?
Indeed, you are powerful.
10 more pounds from Hazardous Moose. Thank you, Mouse. Hazardous Mouse. Sorry, I'm thinking Moose. Hazardous Mouse. Thank you, mister. Appreciate that, Hazardous Mouse. All right. So, for the dogfighting module, you will need to have a keyboard and a mouse and internet connection. And probably some sort of decent video card. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go any farther than that, you can get yourself a Xbox controller to play with, or you can play with a HOTAS, which is a keyboard and mouse, or a joystick and throttle. Or you can play just a straight up. You can play also with just a joystick. If you have an older joystick that doesn't have a throttle built in, you can use your keyboard for that too. So they're working on basically all forms of controlling this game. This is Trendane's brand new X52.
Woohoo!
Does it work now?
Yeah, yep.
Now it's brand new. It's fucking better.
He had a couple little glitches with it.
Yeah, mapping issues, but it works.
Well, no. Before that, it was when I did not make the distinction when I was downloading the drivers between the X52 and the X52 Pro. I was trying to install the Pro drivers, and it wouldn't even recognize that there was a controller plugged in.
Yeah.
It was like plug in your controller. I'm like, okay, there, and it's like, no.
And Trendane, you are going in and out. It's weird. Like you're getting really loud and you're really quiet. No, yeah, it's like
I know you are dropping a bit low.
Yeah, but when I said it earlier, everyone looked at me like I was crazy.
You are crazy. But
at that particular time, he was fine. But just then, when he was talking about the driver thing, he just sort of
when he was disgusting. What were you?
Disgusting, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, were they also asking about like they need a pack as well.
Yes, that's I think I maybe I misunderstood what he was asking because the question was kind of vague. Yes, you also need a ship.
Indeed, you are powerful.
Stop smelling your joystick.
Burt's Bees, thank you so much for 15 pounds. Thank you. And Burt's Bees has now been moved to the VIP Gold. I'll talk a little bit more about that before we finish up tonight, but thank you, Burt's. That's awesome. Yes, you're going to need at least a ship package, not just a ship. See, there's two different things you can buy there. You can buy the ship or a ship package. You need the package, otherwise you can't get in at all. And then you need to buy the $5 dogfighting module upgrade to that package. So, yeah.
It helps to have a very nice package.
Oh, it does. On top of that other hardware that you will require, which we're guessing you have some of, seeing as you are on the internet.
Mm-hmm. We are not doing a raffle tonight because of all the raffles we have started tomorrow. So, hang in there.
No ship for you, as Tricky. You've won 2 already.
You won 2 already.
Yoko Rose.
And Yoko, too. All right, next one is Shockrazor says, would you either play a buggy DFM now or in 1 week a polished one?
Polished.
We'll go around the room.
Polished.
Polished. Okay, that's easy, right?
Well,
polished.
It depends.
Okay.
If my purpose in doing it is to help them test the game, then yes, I'll take the buggy one and help. But
they already know about the bugs.
Right, and I am not being paid to help them, test the game. So
polished.
I'll split it down the middle and say, buggy but playable.
Well, it is that.
Well, it's not.
And will it be fully polished in a week? I don't think so.
No.
As long as when I load into the game and I shoot a vandal and it doesn't crash or something like that, if my dude gets stuck looking to the ceiling or something like that, I'm happy.
For 10 to 12-minute intervals.
Yep.
I would be okay with that. But if, like the bug list said, I would crash upon the vandals spawning, then I would rather them fix that problem.
That's right.
And
what about Bod?
So,
what about Bod? Would you play with broken things, Bod?
No, I'd rather wait. I mean, all the major bugs they've already found. They don't need us to bug find and alpha test. Let them fix what they found. Mm-hmm. They want us to fix that, give it to us. We'll soon enough find.
We're going to break a lot of stuff when we get all these people in there.
Oh yeah,
number of people that are going to be looking at it. Yeah, we're going to find a lot of bugs they haven't found yet.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But it would hopefully all be minor ones because all the big ones have figured out themselves from testing internally.
But you never know. Like Trendane says, you're going to fix that one tiny little one, like the light doesn't light up on the dashboard, and then everything explodes.
If the fan stops working, I'll be submitting.
Yeah, if the fan stops spinning, right? And then, we'll just fix that fan, no big deal, and it crashes the entire game. All right, next question is from AC Black. What do you think about the Mustang and how many Vs there will be? How many Vs are in a Mustang? I don't see any in the word Mustang.
I was going to say, I don't think there are any.
What's the Vs? Well, how about just about the Mustang? What do we think about the Mustang?
Maybe they mean how many variants there are.
Oh, variants.
In the Mustang line, that would be my guess.
Possibly.
Have they talked about a lot of Mustang variants?
No, but if it's like...
About Mustang.
No. But I mean, if it's going to end up as a base ship like the Aurora is, there's a good chance there'll probably be some.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, they're releasing variants of almost all the ships eventually. So,
right.
Indeed, you are powerful.
But
Sango 49, 10 pounds. Thank you, good sir.
Woo! But I mean, as far as what do we think about it, I'm indifferent to it, really. I mean, it looks cool and stuff, but I don't know.
It's kind of like a Volvo, blocky but good.
Safe but ugly.
I don't think Volvos are ugly. I think the
new ones aren't. The old ones.
Yeah, I went to Chicago Auto Show, and the new ones are actually really nice.
Well, they're not Volvos. They're not Volvos anymore.
Real quick, Death Rises. We did say we're doing a Xi'an tonight, but we moved it till tomorrow because we thought that we were going to be a couple of weeks before we could do the Moose fundraiser. So it's going to be tomorrow.
And now Death Rises is like, I'm out! No!
I'm out! Table flip! Fuck it! All right.
Can I quickly just buddy? Someone just posted a really quick question that I can answer straight away. If I have 2 ship packages on one account, will I get a permanent NPC that I can customize and won't have to pay? From Kibo618. Yes.
There you go. Good question.
Straight
answer.
Yes, you will.
Okay. Next question is Will we be able to fly with our friends in multiple cruise ships with our friends in the Dogfighter module? This is from VC the Zombie. There's probably some newer people that are here tonight just asking questions. So
not today.
Not today.
Not tomorrow either.
Not tomorrow. Not in a week. Tomorrow. Not in a month. Not in 2 months. Probably not 3 months. But maybe 12 months.
So the short answer is no. Not right now.
No. Eventually, yes, but not now.
We're not doing the simulcast with the base tonight. Rico is getting a new car.
Supposedly.
He's getting a Volvo.
Well, he's getting a car. Whether it's new or not.
It's new to him. It's like dating an 80-year-old guy. You know, he's my new boyfriend. He's probably getting the runaround right now. And he'll be getting a car at some point, but for right now, he's...
Yeah, we were talking about this before the show, that even if you walk into an auto dealership with like 50 grand in cash and you're buying a car that's exactly 50 grand, you will not walk out of that dealership for at least 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, all the paperwork.
All the paperwork and bullshit you got to do. It's just...
If you walk in with 50 grand and you're buying a car that's half that, you probably won't leave within 2.
Right.
Yep.
All right. So next question is from Kimball. Will be playing DFM as an organized member, wondering since I have some friends I want to pew-pew.
Yes. No. Maybe.
Well, maybe he said, will we be playing DFM as an organization member? Oh, I see. So he's asking, am I going to be playing with other people in my organization, or can somebody from DICE fight somebody from, some other, the Lamp maybe, or something like that directly? I don't know.
I imagine there's a possibility once multiplayer is online that you might get put into the same fight. In which case, you'll be able to fight against it. But is it an official thing? No, you would have to go and run it through the. You would almost have to role play it out on the forums, practically.
Yeah. All right. Next question. This is from Sohal. What are your biggest fears about the future of Star Citizen? What would you hate to come into the game that could ruin it for you guys, or changes that you don't want to happen?
I would hate for the entire thing to end up on the cutting room floor. I mean, that would be upsetting to me. But
we were talking about this the other day, and it's a really good question, because we are getting to a point where, because everything is staggering out so slowly, we're getting these things in phases that at some point people are going to just jump in not knowing what Star Citizen is about. Like, we got somebody, we'll say...
Sorry,
that's
right.
Sax Man.
It just makes me think of Happy Birthday to Chris Roberts.
So, just use this as an example. Say Co-Carnage, who is a really prolific streamer, very popular. He does not know anything about Star Citizen. I'm not saying he does or doesn't. I'm just using him as an example. He's going to show up and he's going to jump right into the dogfighting module. He's going to go, yes, look at this. And it pew-pews, and it pew-pews. And he's like, this is Star Citizen? This is what all the hype's about? Well, screw this, I'm out. Right? And he's just going to disappear. And so, even though we all know that in 3 or 4 centuries we will have the persistent universe, other people that are going to come into it are going to come in phases, and to try to bring those people back in 3 or 4 years, I think is going to be the problem. Because now we've done the dogfighting module, and then we're going to have the first-person shooter module, then we're going to go to Squadron 42, and it's going to be, it's almost like what's going on with Landmark and Sony. Sony has EverQuest, EverQuest 2, EverQuest Next, and EverQuest Landmark, or just Landmark. And those all those different EverQuests and Landmark and what is this and how is it? It's confusing to the end consumer. They just want, I want to play Watch Dogs. It's just Watch Dogs. Go ahead, Trent.
I don't think that quite applies because Arena Commander, Squadron 42, and the Persistent Universe, they are all the same game.
Right.
As opposed to EverQuest, EverQuest 2, and even EQN and Landmark are technically kind of different games. They do link together, but there's really not that much of an overlap from a character perspective.
Right.
There's, items, trade back and forth, but that's about it. With the Persistent Universe, and plus there's a common, I don't want to say a lore thread, but there's it's the best thing I can come to. That does tie them all together very, very solidly. That they are all connected, and there is a reason for them all to connect together this way. I would liken it more to going from Wrath of the Lich King to Cataclysm, because I stopped playing in Wrath of the Lich King. I stopped playing WoW. I canceled my subscription. I was like, okay, I'm done. And as soon as Cataclysm came out, I was like, shit, they're changing the entire fucking world? Holy fuck. And I restarted my thing. I was like, yeah, I'm back. Absolutely. No problem. I am in. And I think it'll be the same thing. I think once you start adding in new stuff for people to do, I think it'll bring them back. And if it's as good as we hope it is, maybe they won't even leave to begin with, because we're going to have, supposedly, maybe, possibly some user-created content to go in there. Maybe. I still think that's a possibility. I think they could do the same sort of thing they do in Neverwinter, the MMO. They have an entire program where people can create quests, and they get folded into the game. You can go over to this bulletin board and say, here's this quest, and it's user created content, and it gets folded into the game, and it gets vetted. It's not like they're going to give you some level 47 bow of smiting everything in this section of the thing. But, I mean, everything has to balance out in order for it to be posted on that board. But I can see them doing that. Mm-hmm. So I don't think we're going to lose that many people.
Okay. Any thoughts on you guys? All right.
No.
I just want the DFM. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, Arena Commander. Sorry.
Neil 90 UK says, if you had a chance to design a ship for Star Citizen, what type would it be and why?
Giant purple dick ship.
They already got that. That's the Freelancer.
No, but that has tits on it.
Not anymore. Stakas.
That would be a tough one. I mean, they've covered a lot of the bases with the ships that, when I see them, I'm like, oh, if that's a ship that I could make, I would want one just like that. I guess if I had to design one myself, it would probably either be a very very, very purposely built ship for a design function, like a salvaging ship or something very, very or something completely nonsensical, much like the 890 Jump, which is basically just a big pimp boat.
Yes.
I'd go one way or the other, something completely extravagant and ridiculous,
right?
And opulent, and people
Luxury.
go, "Damn, look at the spinners on that sucker!" Or, it might be quite ugly to look at, but as a form and function, it's very, very useful in the verse. So it'd be one or the other. I think I'd probably go for a salvaging ship, although they said there might be one coming soon or eventually. I'd probably go for another one. I'd make one of my own, possibly.
Or?
Yeah. My purple dick dip is lots of function.
All right, Core.
Hey, wait, no. I was just gonna say, I'm so sleepy.
Take your big giant dick and bite on it while Core has a fucking...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I would literally go for the Spaceballs giant Hoover maid. I mean, why the hell not? I want that.
See, this is fucked up because
Maid.
you're saying that. I was saying I want a Space Winnebago. When I got my turn was going to come around, I was like, I want a Space Winnebago.
Too slow.
Not exactly the Winnebago, but
Screw the Winnebago.
something like that. Something sort of like, the 890 is a bit crazy, like opulent, but something like you could just like feel like you're living in like a space houseboat. You're traveling from point to point.
Like a freelancer or something.
Well, the freelancer, it's got the big cargo area in the back. I'm thinking just something more like living quarters. There really isn't any much cargo space. It's just kind of you traveling like you're a space gypsy kind of thing, something like that. Bod, where would you go?
I think most of the ships that I would actually want will all be combat based. Anything specific that I'd think of design, I'm not too sure, to be honest. But it would be definitely combat based.
Combat based. See, I'm not a good combat person, as you guys have been watching.
I just want to shoot stuff.
Dangerous. Yeah.
Bod wants to hit shit with a big stick.
Yes, he does. He's probably got fast skills.
It'll have big guns.
Reaction times or stuff.
Domos.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, you should definitely stream lots of dogfighting anyway, just because it's going to be hella entertaining watching you
fail
up and swear loudly at the screen repeatedly.
Yes, that will happen. And I have a new emote, which is the Domo fail emote, because I've been doing it so well. Did you guys? You probably didn't see, but I was playing Elite Dangerous, and Elite Dangerous gave us an injection of money, like a 1.5 million credits. So I bought myself an Anaconda. No, I bought myself like a, what was that ship called? The trucking ship. And it was exactly the same size as the hole leaving the space station.
Yes.
And I destroyed 2 of them trying to get out of the space station. Lost all of my cargo. It was so ridiculously frustrating. Like, look, I went and bought all this stuff. I'm going to go sell it. I couldn't even get out of the space station.
It's like a truck. It's like a trucking company that owns big rigs, making the garage doors literally with like an inch of clearance on all sides, and then expecting you to get it in and out every single time perfectly.
The fucking thing is spinning in space. So as you're
rotating.
It's rotating. So as you're getting out the door, it's like, okay, you're matched to the rotation of the ship. Obviously, you're in its mass, so you're going to be rotating with it. But once you get outside a certain point, it starts turning anyway, and so you have to like try to spin this ship that's exactly the same size as the hole as you're coming out. It was major rage. Yeah, we're from now on, everybody. We're starting the show an hour early. I put that out last week, but maybe everyone didn't remember, and I apologize tonight. I was so busy trying to get the stuff set up for Moose's donation thing that I forgot to put that out on. So we are an hour early from this point on.
Indeed, you are powerful.
Indeed, I am powerful. Hitman 187, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation, good sir. So, all right, moving on.
Do I get to say what ship I'd want?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
you said
Trendane, you do.
I thought you said. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Trendane.
No, I was joking about the it would be very fantastical kind of thing, but I love Moya from Starscape. I would want an organic ship.
Really? Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
No weapons, she's just a big space whale cargo ship kind of thing.
That talks to you.
That just sounds like a whale all the time. Especially if it comes with pilot, because he was adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Do what?
Looks like we have a use for my dildo ship after all.
Oh my god. What is with you tonight, Harris?
I should put my tongue back in.
I'm so out of it right now. You have no
right.
idea.
We'll be done soon.
He was leaning on his pop filter a minute ago.
I saw it. I was like taking a nap with his pop filters holding his head up.
I'll make it somehow.
Yeah, we're real quick. The Moose Fund is we have a friend who's fighting cancer right now and has just had some major surgery, so we're doing a fundraiser for him. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. All right. So yeah, I guess we can move on now.
Yes.
Asta Fury says, any ideas on the news show that's replacing Wingman's Hangar?
Nope.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we already talked about that. We don't have any idea really. Sorry, Asta Fury, a little late for that one. It's not your fault. You put it in when we were talking, so it's okay. Asta Fury also asks, what are the odds that the next Great Star Citizen ambassador is also going to be the new host?
You mean Mr. Giesling or Gosling?
Dan Giesling.
Giesling.
Zero chance.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of that. I don't think he really has the time himself to do it either. I mean, we've seen how much he's been involved so far.
It's massively.
Not much. Which is very frustrating because I made that whole Grumpy Old Gamer rant supporting Mr. Giesling, and I thought he was going to be there every week and everything. And I'm watching I'm watching all these Next Great Starships. I don't see him anywhere.
Well, plus he's not there, is he? I don't think he lives in Santa Monica.
I don't know.
Or in the LA area. I thought he was a little further back east.
Yeah, that was in Michigan.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Dan Giesling doesn't work there anymore. Kin Shadow has inside information.
Well, yeah. I mean, because there was controversy, wasn't there? There was a backlash.
There's controversy over everything they do.
Exactly.
I
oh
know.
my God, Wingman gained a pound. Let's just shit a brick.
Well, people screaming about Wingman Hangar's show. I mean, Wingman's show, I should say.
Yeah.
True. And then when they were doing the Next Great Starship, there were people, losing their shit over that, and it's turned out to be a great thing. I mean, they should have at least given the guy a chance. When I saw him all of twice?
Right.
Yeah. Pretty much.
1.5 times, really.
Yeah, because he only kind of showed up the second time, going, "Hey guys, we're going to talk to them," and he didn't talk to them. He just the Skype calls.
You saw one way of the Skype call,
right?
Which didn't even involve him.
Right. It was. I'm saying it could have been Sandy who filmed that, or somebody else.
Anyone.
Yeah. So.
And my issue with him was very specific. Beyond that, I had no issue with him at all. I just hated the way he accented with his hands. That was my only thing. That was my only issue.
Italian. What do you want? Over here.
I mean, yeah. But
Three Dingo doesn't do that?
Yes,
But
they
back
do.
to the new shows, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. All right. So next question from Brett Bull. Now they have confirmed that the Aurora and the 300i is in the DFM. How happy are you? See, I don't know. I already had a Hornet, so I didn't care.
Same here.
But the 300i, actually, I am kind of curious to see how it would be as a fighter. To me, it seems like driving a Mercedes-Benz on a road course, like a rally course. It just seems like it's not quite fit for it, but we won't know until we get there.
That's a bad analogy because Mercedes are incredibly good handling,
great handling cars, but I've never seen Mercedes in a rally race. I've seen
Dakar.
What's that?
Yeah, Mercedes have a lot of cars in Dakar.
In the Dakar rally, yes. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah. All right, but I'm thinking more like standard rally racing.
Are they going to compare flying against something like a Hornet?
A Hornet, which is purpose built as a fucking badass weapon of death, to something that has nice padded interior and all that kind of stuff. Stakas forgot to mute his microphone.
Sorry, my bad.
He's not sorry.
My bad. Not really. Well, I mean, I'm happy that they're in.
Yes.
I mean, whether or not they're going to be able to hold their weight against, you've always got to ask yourself, Aurora versus Hornet. They're really not the same class of ship, and they never were meant to be. So if you are an Aurora going against a Hornet, I mean, obviously there's going to be some sort of disadvantage to you. But apart from the obvious, I'm just happy that they're in the game and they're going to be flyable, and that we're going to be able to jump in them and cruise around in them. I mean, even if you're just with a bunch of mates doing stupid shit in your Auroras, just playing, just playing
bumper
chicken
cars
against each other. Bumper cars. No, no weapons round. Just nothing but ramming and see who wins. It's like, you could do lots of fun stuff with them, but I'm just happy they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
I'm not going to be dogfighting anyway. It's going to be free flight in my Aurora the whole time.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, Trendane. I'm terrible, but as Harris said, I should be entertaining my audience with my death.
Exactly.
Over and over and over again.
Aurora versus Vandal Swarm. Do it.
Yep. All right. Where are we at here? Okay. Okay. Birdspeed says, if they eventually implement an inverse radio show, will any of you get on that? I think the answer is a resounding yes.
Yeah.
I think all of us would probably like to do stuff, especially with the bass. And Trendane's going to be there Trendane is the official voice of the computer.
Indeed, you are.
The bass? Is that a show?
The bass.
Yeah. The
TK
bass is
Nightcrawler,
awesome.
thank you so much. 15 pounds.
Hang on, I can even do this.
Thank you, TK.
Check the links in chat if you've not heard of the bass. It is awesome.
I think the bass will definitely transmit in the verse
It
eventually.
makes me wonder about radio stations like K-Town as well, which is another. I know that their big thing is that they're going to try to stream to multiple games at the same time. Mm-hmm. The theory behind it is that this thing kind of there's this shattering of this crystal, and every single one of these game universes has these resonant crystals that receive these signals from across multiple dimensions. So you'd be able to listen to the same radio station in WoW on this crystal as you would be in Star Citizen or whatnot.
That's cool.
The Dark Crystal.
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay. I was just going to say that's going to be they're going to have to be very careful on their content, because if you're playing WoW and you're listening to them, you're not exactly going to be interested if they're talking specifically another game
like
stuff.
The Vandal Swarm. Yeah.
But I mean,
there's a raid going on in Seoul right now.
That's right. But I mean, I guess
maybe that's exactly the news you want to hear, so that you can switch over.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe they limit themselves to maybe a half a dozen games, and then now and then they'll have just a specific game cast where, and for all of those in the WoW universe, there's this particular thing going on. You might want to check that out, and back to a normal broadcast where it's just like a generic radio station, possibly. That would be cool.
All right, next question from Frankie76. What do you think about the balance talk they had in Wingman's Hangar? Aurora and Hornet weapon balance, really? What do you think, Harris? What's going on, Harris? What's going on? He's getting
quickly
his
before
ass
you
up.
fall asleep.
Yeah.
He's looking at purple dicks. That's what he's doing.
I don't really know. I think that they have a lot more problems on their hand than balance issues right now. And that's my answer to that question.
Kimball, what's happened is we got hacked last week, or this week? Or last week?
Early this week.
Early this week. Basically, some guys came in and had ways to crash my channel, so I had to stop being able to post links for right now. We'll figure that out in a little bit. So I apologize, everybody. You can't post links right now. But you can send it to either Bod or Stakas, and they can post them for you.
I don't remember this question.
No, it's not a question. It was a
No.
Oh.
I mean the question that we're
about the
we're
horn.
addressing.
I didn't hear anything about that as well. And
There was a snippet about it. How they were worried about the balancing between the Hornet and the Aurora. About the Hornet being such a combat-based ship and the Aurora not.
It's right. The Aurora's like a
yes.
Chevette. You know.
You remember now? Yep.
Yeah, now I remember because he said that the missiles on the Aurora are
Oh.
stronger, but
Yes.
that the Hornet has more of them.
Yes.
Or the missiles aren't as strong, but they have more of them. Yes, now I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, we won't know until we start getting in there.
Yep.
So, oh yeah, Kimball, you were there, yeah. But that's why, Kimball. Sorry. All right, let's see. With the 300i and the Aurora in the first iteration of the DFM, does that mean the people with these ships will not be able to fly the Hornet at first? Everyone else will be able to? If you're a subscriber, you can fly anything. So...
actually, I don't know the answer to this question.
I don't either.
I don't either.
I think what it was going to be, if you owned one of the Hornet Aurora 300i, you would be able to fly that particular ship in the DFM module. If you had none of those, you'd be given like a loaner ship, and the chances that it was going to be just a Hornet.
Yeah.
They weren't going to give you a specific one or the other. I think if you had none of those three, it was just going to be get given a Hornet.
Well, you need a package.
Well, you still need a package. You still need a package, but
And
what if
usually
you
the
bought
package, the price range of the package decides what you'll have. So if you had a Cutlass, for instance, that would turn into a Hornet loaner, right?
Yeah.
And there's a couple of ways that'll match out. But if you had an Idris and an Arena Commander pass, do you get a Hornet?
I think irrespective of the amount you paid.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I mean, I guess that is the closest thing to an answer that we have because, right?
At this point, that's the most amount of information that I've gotten from any of the devs from the various questions that they've answered and videos that they've posted. That was going to be sort of the way it happened. So they may change it. They may change
eventually. Eventually, everyone will have their own ship in Arena Commander, and everyone will be happy. But right now, you're all getting loaners. No one will have their own ship.
Yep.
Even if you own a 300i, the 300i you're flying is not yours. It's a simulation. Sorry.
Well, I don't know if the subs can pick anything they want, but I'm sure the subs can fly the Vandal.
Once subscribers that have subscribed for a certain period of time get a pass. Once all the ships are in the DFM, that you will be able to then fly any of the available ships in the Arena Commander, but that's not for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, all of the ships would have to be finished, fully PBR'd, the whole lot, implemented, animated, the whole jizz. So that's not
Basically,
going to be long.
Basically, year-long subscribers eventually down the line get a try before you buy Arena Commander.
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool. Moving on. Sorry, buddy, I'm kind of going through these quickly because we are quickly running out of time here. And okay, what happened to last week's episode? It died.
It got hacked.
It's in my previous thing. If you guys want to watch it, there's like 17 different iterations of it because it kept crashing over and over and over again. It wasn't me, it was Twitch. But so it's broken apart in like little 5-minute snippets. So if you want to watch them, you can. It was too much for me to put together. I was just like, F it.
You skipped too.
I did skip. Yep. Actually, I skipped a bunch. Okay. Who do you think will be the maker of the HOTAS? Of the Star Citizen HOTAS? I'm going to go with SciTech.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
It could be SciTech, yeah.
Yeah, because they seem to have a pretty close working relationship. It sure as shit ain't going to be Logitech, I'll tell you that. And Passive Killjoy, notice this on Elite Dangerous, where you have this voice macro thing. Would it work in Star Citizen? Trendane, you were wanting to talk about this tonight.
This is the one that I was,
So wind up, buddy.
The wind up and the pitch. Okay, so the voice thing is called Voice Attack, and basically it links with Microsoft speech recognition in your computer, so that you will be able to program it that if you want to say divert all power to weapons in Elite Dangerous, it transfers all power maximum into your weapons, so your weapons are more strong. You can say, balance power distribution, whatever you want to program it to give it verbal commands, so you don't have to take your hands off of the control sticks or map them to whatever you think. And there's a lot of people. There's a big thread on the RSI site in the forums where they're talking about. There's kind of three camps. There's the big camp of, oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever. Mm-hmm. There is the, no my god, lead, hex, or cheat. This is, any kind of macros that blah, blah, blah. And then there's the, well, wait a minute. This is going to be some kind of a violation of the terms of service anyway. Now, in that thread, we've already seen one person quoting a supposedly genuine response from CIG saying, given what we're seeing with this, no, there's no reason in the world that we wouldn't let you use this. Which, if that is a genuine response, and CIG said, yeah, you can do that, that's not a problem, then the discussion is over. Then it's a tool, and if you're using it correctly, I mean, it's a tool anyway.
There is no way that you can stop me from doing anything similar than that on my any of the controllers I've got. They all have macro functions. I mean, if you have a keyboard that's other than like a standard $19 keyboard, you can do macros on it. You can download a program that's going to do macros. You can't stop that from happening. No. Almost every control, even my my joystick, my X52 Pro, it has macro functions I can do. So just because I can do that with my voice, who cares?
It's no different than pushing a button. I think. Right. The one of the videos that was shown is this guy is flying along and there's a missile coming at him and he's like evade, and his ship kind of starts to thrust sideways and gets out of the way of the missile, which that's kind of sort of, I mean, because he's not doing that, he's having the computer move his ship.
Accessibility issues? What if somebody has only one hand?
Right. Very true.
Now, I'm serious. What if they've only got a right hand and they can't, or left hand, and they don't have a joystick hand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They can use the throttle, but to fly with a joystick with the other hand is a little difficult, or whatever.
Has there ever been support for and no knock against one-handed people, but has there ever been support for one-handed people playing like flight sims?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
There's a charity that focuses specifically on building rigs for people who are disabled. I forgot what it's called now, though, but I know that SIG supported it at one point as well.
That is really cool. I'd like to look up.
And what about no hands at all? What about somebody who's like maybe got a Lou Gehrig's disease or something and has no strength in their hands?
That thing that goes on their head that reads their brain signal or something?
No. Oh, okay.
No,
you're right. You're actually right.
There
yes, I'm sorry. I thought for a second I was thinking like Doc Brown in
the motive.
Yeah.
The motive.
Yeah, the motive thing. Yes.
Which is very cool.
Able Gamers, that's right. Geek Girl's got it. Able Gamers.
And also, if you've got somebody who, like, maybe they've just come back from Iraq and they've had their entire left arm blown off, so they can use the joystick, but they can't use the throttle, but they can program this thing to say, full power, or full throttle, or whatever, just, they can give it the commands, but I mean, the thing of like, if they're like completely upper body paraplegic where they can't use any of the controls, giving all of those commands verbally would get very busy very fast.
It would get very busy very fast, but if you were handicapped, you would probably still enjoy playing the game.
Yeah.
Unless you had a macro setup that basically, with minor input did most of it for you. I mean, macros can become extremely complex if you program them correctly. I'll
be honest, in World of Warcraft, I've got one button I set up for my Razer guitarist here. I hit one button, and it goes through about 75 different commands and does the entire fight for me, and all I do is hold that button down while I'm doing the fight. Because here's why. I got carpal tunnel from smashing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on my keyboard all the time. So I made it to where I built that into the macro. Then I'm like, well, I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4. Why don't I go ahead and at the same time every 30 seconds cast a heal on myself or some other kind of rotational thing? And you're right, it can get to these really complex things.
Well, technically that's not complex because you're doing the same thing over and over, just on repeat. But there are you know all those little bot trains that you see running around that don't listen to you whatsoever? Mm-hmm. Usually they're external programs, but most of the time they're built upon macros. Yeah. So they do not interpret the world around them. They just interact with it using these scripts. And it gets to the point where you're basically just building scripts or code for, running these macros. But most of these macro systems that currently exist allow for you to be able to do that, to time it, to build in all these little ifs and buts. And, it gets to the point where, wait, what was I doing again?
Well, but, you could do something where it would be simple to say, okay, evade left, evade right, evade up, evade down, and it's automatically doing that for you.
I would probably remove the evade from there.
Yeah,
just
that's
for speed.
Yeah.
But I mean, for you, Geekdomo in particular, the ability to just, you're let's say with Elite Dangerous, you're flying into the station, you manage by some miracle to get through the hole,
right?
And you're just about to land, you're like, oh shit, deploy landing gear, and it's done.
Yes, because
you don't have to look over to the thing and then move over to the thing and
because I've been playing it with Track IR guys, so I got to move my head and I've got to look over, move the thing down. Yeah, so it would be nice.
Or you could just flying along and you're like silent running.
Yeah, silent running.
I mean, whether it's cheating or not, I think that's a little debatable. I mean, cheating isn't really.
It's been a very, very long debate. I mean, when it comes to MMORPGs and when it comes to macros, is using a macro, does that turn you into a bot? Does that give you any skill over someone who would have to do it all by hand? And the common sense response always is, why aren't you macroing too? Mm-hmm. Because it is so easy to set up.
But, I mean, my thought process on that whole thing is the only way SIG could possibly stop anyone from creating any sort of macro or command or program would be to completely stop people from using macros at all.
That's impossible.
And that's impossible.
The gaming peripherals themselves are already...
That's right, because technically a macro is just your pressing of the buttons physically put into a command that then gets run automatically. So you're not physically doing it, but at one point you physically input the information, and now it's just bound to one button. You press it, and it just goes through those steps.
The same.
That's exactly correct. So there's no way that they could stop it. I mean, people might bitch about it. Oh, he's using the voice command thing. It's hacksaws. You're a cheat. It's like, well, really,
You get it yourself then. If you want to be better than somebody, then you have to go and get the tools they've got then if you think that it's such an advantage.
And in my case, it wouldn't apply because I'm not going to use it in dogfighting anyway. I'm just going to use it to
land.
The funniest story about voice attack I read today, I forgot where it came from, but I'm sure people will recognize it when I say it, was a guy using voice attack, and he was landing his ship in Elite Dangerous, and his wife walked by and yelled, "Accelerate!" Boost. And his ship flew into the... Oh, boost, yeah.
It was boost.
He slammed his ship and blew it up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Flew it into the back wall of the station. Because it fired off the emergency boost accelerators on the engine, because he was almost on the landing pad, and his wife was walking by to get her tea. She leaned down to his microphone and went, "Boost!" And bam! And his ship just took off into the back wall of the ship, or
He's
in the back wall of the station.
You bitch! You owe me a new ship and all the cargo I was carrying. That's funny. All right, we only got a couple more minutes here, so let's quickly get through this. This is from Smack Mickey. This is a great one because we talked about this earlier, but he obviously didn't hear this part, so let's just go over it again real quick with what we think. It has been addressed, but is there anything Star Citizen team can doing with the amount of money they have with a budget like theirs? Is it concerning to see them release their product so slowly?
No.
I know. It's really frustrating because Smack Mickey, the reason we're getting all frustrating is $45 million is a lot of money to you. $45 million is almost nothing to a game developer. And they're doing an amazing job with the money that they've got.
Well, I would say it's nothing, because I'd say average AAA development is somewhere sitting around $25 million.
But not for a AAA. For a game like
for AAA.
Let's
for AAA,
Starve or whatever.
No, for AAA, it's about $25 million. Because, I mean, it's an average, right? You have to think that includes games like Star Trek, right? Mm-hmm. Those games still count as AAA releases, right? Because they're not indie releases.
They count as AAA.
They do.
What about Watch Dogs? What did that cost?
Oh, I don't know. How much did Watch Dogs cost?
$300 million or something.
$300 million, something like that. but those are like the high end of the spectrum. But you see, 42 million. If you think about it, it's all right. Listen, in response, particularly to this question, you need to relax. Maybe get a cup of tea.
Oh hell!
You know, enjoy some sunshine because you know if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's pretty nice outside.
It's been really nice
right?
lately.
Okay, so you need to chill out because this is how the development process works. Okay, they're not releasing their product slowly. It's amazing they have anything to release at all.
Right.
Because if you asked Watch Dogs why they didn't release their game 6 months ago, then the answer would be very simple. Oh, marketing purposes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, non-caffeinated tea.
And the amount of rage that you heard about Watch Dogs was minimal compared to the amount of rage that you heard today about DFM being 1 or 2 or 3 or a week late. And it's because it's what you expect from a large corporation like that. They have the ability to just throw a curveball and say, look, we're not releasing it now. We're waiting till the next fiscal year. It's fine for us because we're making millions of money anyway. So, you know, I think
the biggest thing is don't Twitch. I think what they've learned is that do never stream on YouTube, and don't release anything with a date. Don't say any dates.
Don't say dates.
Don't say dates. So.
And to those of you saying that Watch Dogs is very buggy, I have no issues. But
I've had no.
neither have I.
People are saying like it's crap. I had a couple guys come to my channel when I've been playing it saying it sucks. It's terrible. This game's a piece of. I'm like, dude, it's been flawless for me. Not a single bug has happened.
Well, although so we have to understand that our gaming PCs are probably far above
780 Ti.
Bod had some issues with it though today.
Did you, Bod?
I don't think it's specifically game related. I think it's more system related.
Yeah, it could be.
To be honest.
I mean, I even know...
It was weird, but...
I even know Dragar. He was playing on a 570, I believe it was. Or, no, not even. He was playing on a much, much older thing. Mm-hmm. But when he was running it on low settings, even though it didn't look great, it worked fine. But if he was running it on high settings, he had artifacting all over the place, which is, you know, a classic case of that your PC is just not
enough,
there.
Next time those guys pop into your channel and start saying that, just tell them, sit and watch for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just tell them to watch that for a while.
You're sitting there screaming about how it's crashing all the time? Sit the fuck down. Watch.
All right, so...
it does not crash at all.
Let's see if we can get through this real quick. Speed round, like, got 4 minutes here. Imbex, he says, when do we get the scythe in the hangar? Should be close? No.
You might see one flying in the arena, Commander, trying to kill you, but
if we can get in one and fly it around, why can't we have it in the hangar then?
We can't.
We can't.
No.
They're the AI flying against
us.
No. He's asking, when can we have it in the hangar? Like people who own that. What? Well, why not?
Ages.
If you can get in it and fly one, like
you can't.
You can't get in one and fly it.
You can when that part comes. It's coming. They said that you can.
When that part's in the you can fly it in DFM. It'll also be in a hangar.
Yes.
But that's not for a little while.
That's not tomorrow. It's not a week.
Knight Rider just said version 0.9 for the scythe.
Okay.
So that's pretty close. And then I guess the last one. How many millions will they get after DFM AC comes out and turns out to be awesome? This is going to boil down.
I think they'll get a big boost.
Several millions.
It's already going up. People are already buying ships in anticipation.
I will say they'll get an easy 3 to 5.
Yep, I'm happy with that.
Sounds right.
I'll say 10. I'll be optimistic.
It would also all depend on once it's all successful. If a week later after it's all successful and it settles down a bit, do a sale. Bring some freelancer variants or something. Then
I said it earlier today. If they were just every time they experience a setback like this, do a tiny sale for something insignificant, because then people, it does. People might start saying that it would seem like it's money grubbing, but it at least gives the people who want to do something that day the ability to do something that day.
There's going to be a huge spike when the next Great Starship ship comes out, and that should be soon too. Anyway. Probably within the next month or two. Well, actually, it might be closer to August or
Well, that brings an interesting question to mind. Whoever wins, the next great starship. How long do you think it'll be before their ship is ready to go into the game?
That's right, yeah, because they all say they're ready to go, but there's probably going to have to tweak the animations and things to Chris Roberts' liking. And
and tweak everything so that it actually fits with the physics of the game. That's probably going to take the longest.
Yeah, and once the SIG developers actually grab it from them, how many changes are going to follow just to reintegrate?
All right, that sounds good. Chazen, last question from Chasen RN. How many delays is too many?
I don't know. We're still all waiting for actual PU, and that's all I really care about.
Okay. All right, yeah, we don't know. We will never know until we get there.
I think as long as they're truly justified, I don't know. I mean, I think as long as the reasons they cite for the delay is worthy and reasonable. I mean, if they just turn around and say, "Oh, the towel wasn't creased right, we don't want to release it yet," I mean, that's a load of bullshit. Well, you know what I mean. Something very petty
no. It's like
that we can all live with.
Like, oh my god, the head is missing when you sit on the toilet. We can't release today.
Yeah, as long as the delay is justified for a very good reason, I think most of us will be happy to sit for a week, another day, whatever.
Well, obviously doesn't like asking my questions. Did I miss your question, Snowed One?
Yes, you did.
I thought we covered it though. That's why I just skipped over it.
And we don't like you, Snowed.
We love you, Snowed One. If you ask me questions in Skype, I can't see them. I guess people don't understand how the thing works, but if I'm in this window, I can't open the other window because she wrote me something three times in Skype.
If it's the question about the AAA game, or no, is it different questions?
This one is there's three somethings in Skype and I can't look at it. If I switch it, then it basically wipes out the show and I lose everything on the settings and stuff. Anyway, so the question from her is for Trendane. How long does a AAA game normally take to make?
That depends.
Anywhere.
It really does. It depends on the game.
Anywhere from 2 to 5.
If not more.
I was going to say 2 to 4, yeah.
If not more.
Yeah,
I don't know how long Watch Dogs took.
I think it was only 4.
Ages, I'm sure.
But I mean, Spore took a long time and was nowhere near what we wanted it to be.
No, the Watch Dogs IP has only existed for about 2 years now. So, and it was only 1 year in development before then. It wasn't that long. It was the largest, most prominent new IP that has ever come out ever, as of this week.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the advantage that Watch Dogs has a lot of what they were doing. Because I mean, with things like GTA 5 and whatnot, they have existing technology they can use. What Watch Dogs has that virtually no other game has that would have taken the longest was that amount of voiceover recording. But fortunately, their scripts were very, very easy to come up with. They could have started recording them very, very early in the development process and just fold them in whenever they need them.
What he's talking about is everywhere you walk in Watch Dogs, you look at any person walking on the street, they all are talking about something. Mm-hmm. They all talk. Like, they all say something and it's completely different. I haven't heard the same conversation twice yet.
I was just going to say that exactly. I haven't heard repetition once in watching your streams.
You have?
I have now.
Yeah.
I have now.
It's taken, I played it about 16 hours worth, so after that, you would expect to hear something.
Mm-hmm.
For that number of NPCs? Yeah.
That's very impressive.
VC the Zombie says, where do you guys go to get your information about Star Citizens? We make it up. Pretty much.
The one thing that I haven't seen in Watch Dogs that kind of it didn't occur to me until earlier today, I haven't seen a single pigeon, cats, dogs.
There is a spider tank.
Yeah, there is a spider tank.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no animals in Watch Dogs whatsoever.
DLC, guys.
What?
Animals DLC.
That's right.
It's like the birds of Skyrim.
There's also, for instance, when you're driving around in your game and suddenly there's an NPC on a motorcycle behind you, you get out and you shoot the fucker because NPCs don't drive motorcycles. Only players do.
Big tip. All right, so we've evolved back into Watch Dogs again. All right, guys, let's go. Let's head out tonight. Real quick, Trendane, where are you on the internets? What do you do?
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I am Trendane everywhere. I am here. I am over on the base, but I will not be on Friday's show. That'll probably be Ravana and Zane, so you'll have a completely heterosexual show. You should love it. And I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays and any other random time that my friends here aren't streaming because I don't want to step on any toes. And
you don't have to worry about that. I step on toes all the time.
Still, I try to avoid that. But and I do lots of voiceover stuff. And hope to be the voice of the Central UEE Data Repository Library Community.
Have you done any kind of audition for it or anything yet?
No, they haven't even started casting yet. I mean, the closest thing to an audition for it I've done is the Galactic Guide entries. That's part of the reason why I was doing it.
Found on the RSI forums where Trendane?
Mm-hmm. If you go to the fan stuff,
fiction,
fan sites, art and fiction kind of thing, just do a search for my name on the thing there. Just do a search for Trendane. You'll find it really fast.
Yep.
It's Galactic Guides. My voice is my art.
Along with half-naked pictures of stormtroopers, but beware.
All right, next is Mr. Bod.
Whoa, yeah, I've been streaming a lot of Watch Dogs this week, as like a lot of people probably have.
It's probably the worst game to stream right now, but go ahead.
Well, it is, yeah, but I've been trying to do the campaign on stream and doing the the other stuff.
I'm saying it's the worst because of people watching it right now.